When the church doors closed softly behind the bride, the sound wasn't loud, but I could feel something inside her crack the moment it happened. She stood there like the whole world had just locked her into a future she wasn't sure she wanted. The wedding music drifted through the room, sweet, innocent, almost too clean for what was really happening inside her chest. Her veil shook as she took that first fragile step, squeezing her bouquet like it was the only thing holding her together. She'd probably dreamed of this day since she was a little girl, walking toward a man she believed she loved, toward a life she imagined would be beautiful. But the second her eyes met Daniel's, him standing there with that polished, rehearsed smile, I saw the truth hit her. Something deep inside her whispered that she wasn't walking toward love. She was walking into something dark. I stepped up beside her and gently put my gloved hand on her arm, leaning close. You're in danger. Pretend I'm your dad. I kept my voice steady, firm but not rough. I'd pulled plenty of people out of bad situations before, but none of them ever looked as scared or as lost as this young woman. She froze, glanced at me, quick and shaken. I'm not a small man, broad shoulders, a beard that's gone more silver than I'd like to admit, and my old, worn leather biker jacket with a big Hell's Angels patch across the back. I know how I look. Folks usually tense up when they see me coming. That's fine. Sometimes it's exactly what's needed. But she wasn't scared of me. She was scared of whatever waited for her at the altar. I angled my body just enough to shield her from the guests. The whole room felt it immediately. The confusion, the tension, the questions no one dared ask out loud. And through all that noise, we kept moving slowly up the aisle. She was trembling, but she kept going because my hand guided her forward the way a father would steady his daughter. Her own father had died 5 years earlier. I saw that loss inside her the moment I looked into her eyes. And somehow, standing next to me, she let out a breath she'd been holding for years. When we reached the altar and she finally saw Daniel's face clearly, her expression changed. His smile sharpened. His eyes went cold. The look he shot me was full of irritation and something even worse, possession. I bent my head toward her again, like I was giving a blessing, and whispered the truth. The night before, he'd been drunk at a bar, bragging loud enough for anyone to hear. Said marriage was step one. Said her inheritance was practically his already. Said he'd handle her if she ever fought back. Her knees nearly buckled. Everything she believed about her life started to unravel. She tried to repeat the vows, but her voice shook, her hands sweated, her chest tightened. She could barely breathe. Daniel snapped at me to get out. Guests gasped. And my brothers, standing quietly at the back of the church, straightened up, ready but respectful. Right then, she realized something huge. She wasn't powerless. She wasn't alone. She looked at him and didn't see a husband. She saw a cage. I leaned close again and said softly, "You're not marrying him today. I won't let him hurt you." She lifted her head for the first time with real strength in her eyes. And in that same moment, he grabbed her arm. Hard. Way too hard for any man who claimed to love her. The whole church gasped. I stepped between them instantly. A wall. Solid as steel. She slipped behind me, crying, but she wasn't collapsing anymore. She was waking up. My brothers moved forward, calm but firm, making it clear Daniel would never touch her again. Police showed up fast. And when they did, Daniel's true past spilled out. Debts, aggression, manipulation. Everything he'd hidden behind that perfect smile. Her mother ran in, crying, hugging her daughter, thanking me over and over. Not because I wore a patch. Because I heard the fear she couldn't voice. Because I acted when she needed someone to step in. Because that day, I was the father she no longer had. Weeks passed. She rebuilt her life slowly, carefully. She came by the clubhouse often. I'd sit outside, polishing my bike, giving her a nod that eventually turned into a smile. And that smile turned into something protective, almost fatherly. She listened to my stories about my own daughter, the one I lost because of my mistakes. She listened to the man I used to be and the man I was trying hard to become now, one living with redemption, not rage. And she learned to breathe again, to trust again, to see her own strength. One quiet afternoon, she walked into the clubhouse holding a small wrapped box. She looked nervous as she handed it to me. Inside was a simple silver bracelet with a tiny engraved charm. Chosen family. My hands shook, not because I was weak, but because, for the first time in years, I let myself feel forgiven. If this story touched your heart, Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments. Has anyone ever protected you when you least expected it? Ariel walked away from that chapter not broken, but stronger. And I walked away knowing something too. Sometimes the people the world fears most end up being the ones who save you. And sometimes family isn't born, it's found. And when she walked into the sunset that evening, whispering a soft, "Thank you," to me and to the father she lost, I felt something ease inside me for the first time in many long years.